everyone, it's Imogen and welcome back to Colouring Kid. I hope you're all doing well. In today's video I'm going to be doing a really chilled catch-up colour and chat video, just talking a bit more about my life now, my life at Oxford, what I've been up to. I did mention briefly what I've been up to in my last video, but I thought I would tell you a bit more about specific things that I've been doing. I got some lovely comments saying that you'd be interested to hear, so that really means a lot, because I know that, you know, this is a colouring channel and not everybody wants to know about other things that are going on aside from that. So I really do appreciate your comments. And I'm going to be working in Small Victories by Joanna Basford, of course. I've been loving this book recently. If you saw my last video, it really is a perfect book for me. I thought I would also feed in some, not necessarily tips, it's not going to be a tutorial, but I'm going to be colouring with fine liners a bit more. They are a staple now in my colouring and I use them alongside pencils as much as any other medium at this point. It's pretty much half and half pencil and fine liner. So I have got a fair few videos on my channel now with me using fine liners, and I can of course continue to do those if that's something that you'd be interested in, but this is going to be more of a chilled video, just sort of sharing that I do use them quite a lot. So the page that I'm going to be working on is the fish page that I had as a whip in my last video. I have managed to finish this fish, which I'm really happy about because I was enjoying that a lot. I do apologise for the slight glare. The beauty of this book is that it is small, but it does mean that I can't totally get rid of it in the frame, so I apologise for that, but I'll probably end up zooming in a bit anyway for you. And I'm not fully better, I know I mentioned this as well in my last video. I'm just taking each day as it comes and my voice is back to normal, but if I'm coughing occasionally I do apologise for that. But yeah, I'm going to be probably working on this fish and some of the flowers maybe, because they are predominantly what I'm using the fine liner for, so I think I might do those. Now what I'm going to be doing with this is doing the reverse of this fish. So my idea was to do a lighter purple body for this fish and this fish, and then darker flowers, and then do a darker body for this one and lighter flowers. So I'm going to do that. I might also do some of the leaves because I use fine liner for those as well. So yeah, I thought that I would maybe just base all of the fine liner bits first and then show, as I have been doing quite a lot in recent colouring, about how I go over my pencil with fine liner as well. Excuse me. So I use a mixture of Staedtler fine liners and also Arteza. I've got mostly Staedtler ones here for this fish, and I will just zoom in for you. Okay, so yeah, I'm just going to begin basing everything. That'll be a nice simple thing to me for me to do whilst I'm chatting with you. So yeah, my term went so quickly. I did mention that I loved it so much. I really did enjoy my time there. It couldn't have gone any better really in terms of a first term, because I know it can be really scary having a first term and not really knowing what it's going to be like. Of course, there tend to be a lot of misconceptions about Oxford and Cambridge as well, about, you know, how's it different from other unis, and, you know, if I was just going into it, I was just trying to be as open-minded as possible, because I knew that wherever I did end up going for uni, I would try and make the best of it. And it really just has been such a wonderful first term. I have loved it. So they are very short terms at Oxford. They are 8 weeks, give or take. It was about 9 in total. We have 8 weeks of teaching, and then we have the extra bit for Freshers Week at the beginning. So I'm going back on the 9th of January, I think. Yeah, and that's a Tuesday. So I will have Tuesday to Sunday with no teaching as such, and then my first week will start on the Sunday. So our weeks work from Sunday to Sunday. That's just how they've always done it, and it does mean that I have exams the first week back, but it's also nice because we do have a few days where there aren't any lectures or tutorials. So for those of you who aren't familiar with the college system and how it works at Oxford, it's different from other unis in the sense that the University of Oxford is the university as a whole, but then there are 13, I think there's 39 colleges that make up Oxford, so they're all around the city, and each college takes a few students for each subject and makes them a year group in the college. So I'm at Trinity College, and we do have some postgrads there, but we have the first, second, third years, fourth years essentially. So all of us freshers are all different subjects, and we're put together in our year group. So there's about 80 of us, I'd say, and I know I'm familiar with about 50 of them. I don't see everybody every day, but I have my close circle that I do see every day. And what's really nice about the college system is that you do get to know each other really quickly, and we all have meals together in halls, and it really is the best way to form friendships quickly, because for me, if I hadn't had my college friends, then you really would only be making friends with the people on your course and through societies. So I am very fortunate that the college system has worked for me, you know, through making friends, and it has been wonderful. But yeah, that's kind of how it works. So it can be a bit confusing because it's only Oxford, Cambridge and Durham that do this collegiate system, and it doesn't work for everybody. And I think that's one thing going into applying for Oxbridge in particular that you do have to be aware about, that it is quite, it can be quite daunting, you know, being around the same people every day, and it has really worked for me. I love it, and it's just such a lovely vibe at Trinity. I couldn't really imagine myself anywhere else. And I know that I have mentioned before that I originally applied to Christchurch, and I did get an offer, but on results day it ended up working out that I was at Trinity, and I'm so pleased that I am. And yeah, that has made the uni experience all the better. I have loved my course, and I've really enjoyed the music aspect of it. You know, you'd hope so, wouldn't you, if I'm going to uni to do music, but the college system has been the best part about it, and meeting people. I've just realised I think I might have done the wrong fine line, but that's fine, you're not going to be able to tell. But yeah, that has been amazing. So yeah, I've got my close circle who are lovely. There are quite a few international students as well at Trinity, and I've met some wonderful people. We have a thing called being college married, which seems like a really odd concept if you haven't heard of it, but basically the second years above us coupled up in Freshers Week, or sometime after Freshers Week, around that time. I think some people even do it really, really late into the year, and they basically say, hey, we're going to get married, you know, college married, and be parents for the lower year. So my friend and I, who both do music, we're the only two musicians at Trinity. We have three parents actually, who I think two of them were coupled up, and then we've got another parent as well. And I'm now college married to one of my really good friends, and myself and her, we're going to probably end up having a music student and a language student with us, and possibly a third child as well next year. So that's really exciting. That's a quirky thing that we do. There are quite a few weird traditions and things that we do that I personally really like. I think that it's really funny, and just, you know, those unique aspects that you aren't going to get anywhere else. We also have to wear our robes very frequently as well. I think there is a misconception that we wear them all the time, you know, every day. We don't. We wear them for special occasions. Anytime we have formal dinners, which, if you want to do formal dinners at Trinity, you can go 4 times a week if you really, really want to. I end up going once a week because of choir formal, which we actually get free because we're in the choir, and then other people go as well. But yeah, you can go 4 times. And the nice thing about the relaxed formals, which are twice a week, is that you can wear any clothes you want and then just put your gown over the top. You don't have to wear full, you know, formal dress. It's called subfusc, and we only wore it for matriculation, and we wore it one other time when we had to go meet the president. So that's, you know, fairly relaxed, which works perfectly. We have had some college bops as well, which are the parties. They are, I like it that it's called a bop. I think that's really nice as well, that we kind of have are in terms for things. And yeah, I have been to a couple of those, but they don't expect you to dress up formally for all of them. They're quite relaxed as well normally, although there was a black tie one towards the end of term which I couldn't actually go to. But yeah, there's just a really lovely mix of obviously working hard and then the socialising aspect as well. So I think because it's such an intense term and all of us are working a lot of the time, we know when to switch off and have a good time. I think I mentioned this when I first started applying for Oxford. For me, having an 11 or 12 week term would make me less motivated to keep working, because if there's more time to do things, then I tend to switch off a bit more. But I think having the 8 weeks and knowing that you have to get stuff done so quickly, it really does just push you to do the work, get it done. And that's one thing that I think has worked well with the way that they set out the courses here. Essentially what they do is they squeeze 11 or 12 weeks worth of work into 8 weeks. So I'm not doing any more work necessarily than I would be doing if I'd gone to another uni, but it's just the intensity of it because it's a shorter term. But yeah, it's worked out well. And I think the only thing with prelims this first year, what it's called, is there's a lot of different modules thrown at you, and some of them are brand new to me, some of them I hadn't even heard of before, and they're all very different. So it's quite tricky adjusting to having so many different topics. You know, we do analysis and harmony work and history of music modules, which encompass things all from the 14th century all the way to modern protest music, and there's just a lot of different stuff. And it will be easier in second and third year consolidating what I want to do and what I don't want to do, and separating them and really focusing on the main things which ultimately will make up my finals. So at the moment, prelims is very daunting because there's just so much to do. But it has really worked out in a sense, because you get to find out quite quickly what you gravitate towards and trying loads of different things. As overwhelming as it can be, it has been really fun. So yeah, I mentioned that I was in choir, so I'm doing that. And yeah, it's really, really, really good. And it's a low amount of pressure compared to some other choirs, which I really appreciate, because obviously doing music, choir was obviously something that I wanted to do, but I'm glad that it's not as high pressure as, say, 3 or 5 even songs a week. It's 1 a week and it's perfect. We rehearse twice and do our even song on Sunday evenings. It just works perfectly for me. I am also part of a band that we formed. Some of us freshers have formed one. So myself and the other music student, he was actually asked by a couple of others whether he'd be interested in being in a band with some of the freshers who aren't music students, but they play instruments, and they needed a singer. So yeah, it's really fun. And I'm also open micing at a piano bar, which has been the highlight of my term in terms of music. I have just loved it. I went along pretty much on the first week, and I think I've done about 6 or 7 now because I had to skip a few, and it really has just been amazing. It's something that I've always wanted to do. I got to do a bit of that in Florence, but it just has made my term. It's one thing that I was really hoping that I could get involved in, and I was so fortunate that the piano bar is like a 7-minute walk from college. Everything's so central. Trinity is so central to all of the main streets. We're on Broad Street. That's one of the main streets where the Christmas market was this term, and it just has all worked out so perfectly in terms of location. You know, I'm a 10-minute walk from the music faculty, and it's brilliant. I really couldn't have asked for a better location. So, sorry, I'm just picking colours here and I'm getting distracted. But yeah, it's great. It really is. And the open micing has just really made me become more confident in performing, and I get to do 3 songs every Sunday. I just go along and sing, and there are loads of other people. So I do piano and singing at the same time, and it just has been so fun. And I've been so lucky that lots of my friends have come and supported me as well. I think one time there were about 25 people there, and some of them were my friends at New College, who I've made through a friend who I had at sixth form college. So both of my friends got into Oxford, so we've all gone together, and I've managed to keep in contact with them. And yeah, so they come along sometimes. Well, some of them come every week, and some of them come along sometimes. And then yeah, my Trinity College friends as well, which I'm just really grateful for. And it means that there's always someone in the audience, which is really lovely. My grandparents came along to one, so I did a set dedicated to them, and it's been a really special thing to do on a Sunday night. And also it gives me structure to my week, because I have choir rehearsal, then choir, then I have the formal dinner, and then we go along to the open mic, and we have a night out as such, because then we go out to the pub after, but it's sort of a low-key night out, and it's really so musical, my Sunday. I love it, and it does give me structure, because as I said, my weeks are different every week. Sometimes I'll have lectures, sometimes, you know, on certain days, sometimes I won't, sometimes I have a tutorial on a different day than I normally would, and it just provides that weekly routine, which I am very grateful for. So I've done all the fine liner, I think. I'm going to go in and do a bit of the body before I do. I'm probably only going to get time to do one of the flowers because I've been nattering. I'm not going to make this a terribly long video, but yeah, I think I'm just going to see what happens. I'm not really sure what colour this body will end up being, but we will see. But oh, I am so excited to go back. I really am. I can't wait. I know that it's going to be intense second term, because this is the term where we sort of have to make all of our decisions for what we want to take for prelims, but I'm just really looking forward to getting back there. I miss my friends, and I have managed to see some of them over the holidays, which has been lovely. But equally, it's not the same as being around people 24/7. You know, it's a whole different thing. It's good, I think, that we have our holidays. You know, we have 5.5 week holidays. We're very lucky for that. But at the same time, it does mean that it's a long time to be away from people. And it sounds crazy because we've only been there for 8 weeks. You know, we've only known each other for 8 weeks, but it feels like so much longer because we're all constantly around each other and have formed really good friendships over a short space of time. Yeah, I'm loving it. It just is lovely. I think this is turning out how I was envisioning. We'll just go with it. We'll go with it. But yeah, we were trying to figure out and discuss during one of our last formals what our highlights had been from the term, both socially, academically, and then our overall pick. And I found it really difficult to pick because there have been some great moments. I think for me, in terms of academically, it has got to be just some of the things that we're doing I would not have expected to ever do at Oxford. We've got a fantastic module called Critical Listening where we are given 4 songs for our prelims. We're doing a practice one over Christmas. 4 songs, really modern, up-to-date stuff, and we are allowed to respond to it in any way we want. So I'm doing a remix, essentially, of an Alicia Keys song, and recording bits over the top of the song, adding, it's sort of like a mashup. And I never thought that that would be possible to do at Oxford. There's just some really good modern stuff on the course. We also have this topic called Foundations in Music, where you're essentially discussing what is music, what is a work, what's the difference between music and musics, with, you know, the plural. And in my essays that I've been doing for my tutor, I've managed to feed in Taylor Swift into the argument, Tom Adele into the argument, and just modern stuff that I would never have expected they would allow. And it's really refreshing that it is such a good cause. And I've found myself actually enjoying writing essays, which isn't something that I thought I would say. I know you go to uni, you write essays, you know. I think there is a misconception as well that music is just playing music all day. It's really, really not. It's completely different to that. And the essays that I've written, I've had time to actually enjoy writing them and not stressing. You know, at A level, you are under a time limit. You really can't afford to waste any time, and it ends up just being a memory test. And that's what I am finding really great about doing essays for my tutors, because you have the course of a week to do an essay. And yeah, sometimes I have had 3 essays in a week, which is very tricky, but you still have time to do the essays and really think about what you want to say in a bit more depth. So that has been a positive part of my academic term. I would also say, from a musical point of view, the open mic nights have been amazing for me, particularly the first one, because no one really knew what I did, and they were all just sort of coming along on a whim, and it meant a lot that they were coming on the first night, but at the same time they didn't know what I was like and if I was any good or not. But yeah, that has been a great part of my first term. And socially, I would just say some of my favourite nights have been where we've just been in people's rooms, just playing cards, having fun, whether there's drink or not involved. It's really fun. And I have had some great nights out, like great clubbing nights, but it is just nice to have a night in every now and then and just chill and relax, and I have loved that. So yeah, there's just been a great mix of stuff going on this term, and I can't wait for next term. And I think now that we've all sort of found our feet in how we need to you know, how we need to organise our time, when we can afford to hang out with each other, and I think that's just going to be a really great part of second term, because we will have really cemented our routines a bit more. So I'm going to do this flower now, and what I will do is talk you through what I'm doing. So I think pretty much I've said all that I wanted to say about my first term Oxford. If there are any other particular things you want to know, of course, you know, within reason, of course, but feel free to leave them down below in the comments, and I would gladly be able to answer them if you're interested. It has just been a really great time, and as I said, I can't wait for second term. I've lost a pencil, unless I've got it in my hand right now. Where is it? I'm actually not sure. Just bear with me a second. I'm just going to find it. Okay, I found it. Not really sure how this is going to go, but we will see. I think I might just colour these smaller ones, as I'm not sure I'm going to have too much time to be able to do them. But essentially all I'm going to do is base with cream. So I'm trying to emulate these leaves here as the lighter colour. And I like using cream as a highlight. I've talked about this before, I think. I really do love using it as a highlight for leaves and flowers. So when I'm using fine liners with my pencil, you can actually afford to not work too hard with your pencils, which is great, because it does mean that it doesn't take quite as long. So I'm still trying to do some shadowing, but it doesn't have to be quite as much as if you're just using pencil. So I'm going to leave it at that, and now go over with cream. And now I'm going to go over with the fine liner. So I think what I'm going to do is use my purple, wherever it is, this one, and just add little lines in, go over for shadow. And it's great because you can add in as much texture, as little texture as you like. and go over with pencil after, which I think is what's really, really great about it. So I'm going to go in now with a little bit more, just to deepen up the shadows a bit. But yeah, it's one of my favourite things to do, go in and add shadows. And then I'll just do the middle of the flower as well. So that's sort of what I'm going for with this middle fish here. And I'm going to just carry on like this. I'll just do some of the leaves for you because this is a different technique which I've touched on before. But this is just going over with pencil. And you can actually change the tone of the fine liner depending what pencils you use. So this is quite a dulled green at the moment. And I'm going to just go over with 2 pencils for the colour. Now, I'm using light green from the Polychromos, and just by going over the fine liner, it has the, even though this is a predominantly oil-based pencil as a Polychromos, it does have the capacity to be able to change the fine liner colour and make it a bit brighter. And I'm going over with ivory, which is my favourite colour to use to blend everything. And then deepen it a bit more, and it just speeds up the process so much compared to using pencil as a base. So yeah, they're my 2 main techniques, which I have talked about before, but this was sort of a whistle-stop tour version of that. But yeah, this has just been a shortish video, just sort of updating you with what I've been up to. As I said in my last video, I'm really hoping that I can record a bit of Oxford for you next time, so I really didn't get around to that this term, and getting better at my schedule and figuring out what's going to work, whether I will pre-record some videos and upload them for you, or try and just feed it into my routine there. But I definitely want to get back into doing videos because I miss it, and I know that it will be really, really good for me if I do stick with it and keep doing it even when I'm very busy. So yeah, that's the plan. Whether I manage to pull it off, we will see, but I really appreciate you all bearing with me, and I am so looking forward to next term. And yeah, it's a whirlwind at the moment, just all these changes. I think that has to be the main thing that I have gone through this year, is just change. All the things, when I think back to this time last year, I had just done my Oxford interview. I was finding out about Oxford at the beginning of January. Then I had my A-level exams, and I had all of the work that I needed submitted by the end of March, the coursework for music, exams in May and June, and then my interrailing, finding out about Oxford, going on holiday, and then preparing for uni, and then having my first term. So it has probably been one of the most pivotal years of my life so far, and it's only going to get busier and go even faster over these next 2 and a bit years, because I will be graduating in 2026, and I've already had 1/9 of my time at university, which is insane. Most of my friends have 4-year courses, so I really am in the minority, and most of them will be away when I'm in 3rd year on their years abroad, so I really do need to make the most of being with them at university now. And what will be nice though is that I'll always have a pull to go back to Oxford when they're in 4th year, because I get to go and see them. And of course I won't be there anymore, but it will be really nice to have that. But yeah, that's a long way away for now, but I know that it is going to go very quickly. But yeah, I just wanted to share with you what's been going on, and I'm not very good at colour and chats, as you can see, because I've barely done anything, but I hope that you have enjoyed listening to me ramble, and yeah, I will see you all in my next video. Take care everyone, bye!